Hey YouTube, today we're doing the brakes on the 2013 Honda Pilot. We're going to do the fronts specifically on this video. So, first thing we need to do, put the jack underneath the car. We're going to jack this up to where we get it off the ground. I've already loosened the lug nuts. Okay, the vehicle should be off the ground now. And now we're going to set a jack underneath it, so go ahead and pause. So now we've jacked up the vehicle. Now what we're going to do is take these off, loosen these lug nuts up before you actually jack the vehicle up, otherwise the tire will sit there and spin, and that's kind of annoying. So these are 22 millimeter. So I'm going to put these on my air gun real quick. Take these off. One, two, three. As you can hear that leak, I gotta replace my fittings. Actually, we'll do that in one of my next videos. All five. Okay. So now we have the lugs off, so we're gonna pull this wheel off. This is much lighter than the Tundra. Now what I like to do is I like to stick this underneath the car somewhere about right here. And the reason is if things go really bad for whatever reason and this thing falls, I feel like between that, my jack stand, and my jack, we're safer. So let's take a look at what we got. This is the caliper, and I have plenty of pad on this. If you bring the camera around, you'll see this is the pad, and we've got lots and lots of pads still on this. So let me just take this apart and see if this is even worth taking off right now. So to take these off, this is called the caliper. Take I believe this is a 17 millimeter, and we're going to loosen this nut right here. This is probably going to be fairly tight. So if I can fit a breaker or some kind of bar in there, this will help. Yep, that's definitely tight. Alright, let's try from the top. You want to be careful yanking around in here because, again, you don't want to knock this thing off. So, wow, that is really on good. I must have not been the last person to do this because I never tighten these this much. We call that a knuckle buster. So that loosened that one. When the feeling comes back in my hand, look at this other one here. There we go. Alright, now, those are loose, so hopefully you can see this. Let's take this guy all the way out. We're going to set this right here. Now here's what's kind of cool. I loosen this one up here up top. That allows you to actually just pivot this. Some people take both of them off. I don't think you need to. So you just take this off. Make sure your boots look good. This one looks good. And then I like to tie this with like a string, just as something so I can hold it up. But then we have these little clips that we take out. This one's, they point towards each other. This is the bottom one, okay? And then there's our pad. Now we'll compare that to one of the new pads that we were just talking about, which is right here. So almost exactly the same amount of material. It's a little bit more on this one, but like I said, we're going to replace them anyway. So just like the other videos, you need a little bit of grease. And this pushes here and there. If you look carefully, you can see the calipers. Those, I'm sorry, the pistons. The whole mechanism is called a caliper, but those circles are pistons that push the brakes. And that's how this all works. So when you take this off, don't ever make the mistake of doing both brakes at once, because if you, for whatever reason, can't figure this out, if you have both sides taken apart, you'll never get it back together again because you're not sure exactly how it went in there. There we go. Almost. There. That's one. Let's check out the back one. And here's Mr. Back one. This guy has that little mark indicator. And that indicator's there so that way you know it's the wrong side. And the brakes are wearing. There we go. So again, always match them to make sure you got the right ones. See where these marks are? That's where the piston pushes. That's more or less where we want to put this grease. Not a bunch, just a little bit. Here, and some more there. Okay. And you want to clean that grease off your fingers because you don't want a bunch of grease everywhere. This is high temperature grease, so it's supposed to be very good for that application. I have not had any problems with it myself. And we just put this back in. I think you need to do the top first. There we go. Now, we're almost done. This will not close because those pistons are pushed all the way through. So let me pause it and we're gonna go ahead and grab a tool real quick and show you how to. So this is an old brake pad. What I like to do is take one of these, paint it white so I keep it in my drawer. And then this guy is just something I got from O'Reilly forever ago. And I just put this in and then you just turn the nut and this will push those pistons back in. There we go. And the reason why I like the whole brake pad, because it's the right size, just makes this easier. As you can see, a little bit lower where I'm at. These are getting in there. They're not done yet. Almost. Important note, if you're doing this and you start seeing brake fluid poured all over the place, it's because your reservoir up top is topped off and you almost have too much fluid in. So keep that in mind when you do this. Check your reservoir. I know mine's good, so I don't need to go up top, but I can show you that in another video. So this goes right back over like that. We take the one bolt. This is a 17 millimeter. I'm gonna put him back in here. Now in my head, I want to say that the torque on these is like 28 pounds or something. Definitely not what that was. Jeez, that was way too tight. Obviously you can't just do hand tight, but let me grab this guy. We'll flip him over. Now this is a cheap Harbor Freight trusty old torque wrench. This one's always worked good. The only thing I haven't used it for, again, like I said, is I used it for, I decided to buy a better Craftsman version because I wanted to have something that I knew I could rely on because I was doing a head gasket. And this is just brakes, so this one is almost good. There, that's not going anywhere. Now I'll hit the bottom one. There we go. That's tightened on there too now. Okay, so then do a sanity check really quick. Make sure this doesn't move. There probably will be a little slop, but that's because the brakes have to be pushed for the piston to fill that space back up. So now everything is in reverse. We're going to get that tire out. I'm going to put it on this hub and it's off. So double checking all of our parts. I forgot to put the little spring guys back in. And so that's why you always double check. These just hold them from spreading out. Keeps the, supposed to help, I guess, keep chatter away too. So, but they are supposed to be there. They hold everything together. So we're going to keep those there, obviously. And now, we'll reassemble this guy and be done. So again, like I said, always double check your work because doing this for YouTube, this is where I am trying to do this in somewhat of a hurry because I know everybody wants to get their videos watched and finished, but this is not a job you want to do fast. So I typically say this takes about, with a little bit of help, you can get this whole job done probably about 30 minutes aside, sometimes quicker. As you can tell, the neighbors are testing out their ATVs in the street with no helmets on. That's always smart. So now we're gonna put this wheel back on, and then we're gonna be done. So we got our tire from out from underneath the car, and now we're gonna just line up the lugs. So while I'm doing this, just want to give a quick little shout out to my cameraman because he's helping in a lot of these videos, and so you should go subscribe to his channel, as mine if you can. Much appreciated. That's what makes this more. We're not getting paid to do this, at least yet, but even if we did, this is not our main job. So we just do this because it's fun. So, like I said, if you want to pay, if you're like, oh, this is too much work, I don't want to do this, you don't have to. You can pay a mechanic, and they will do the exact same thing I just did. Charge you, you know, $600 for it. So it's all up to you and what you want to pay. There we go. So now we have that on there. Go ahead and finger tighten these first, just so that way you don't cross straight. And once they spin, you're good. A lot of times, you get your tires taken care of. They just put them on and go because they're in a hurry. And then that jacks up your threads. And you'll find out when you have a flat tire on the side of the road, which is the best time to have a nice little surprise like that. Kind of like not checking your spare tire and then finding it completely flat. And so now you're stuck on the side of the road. So, I'm going to switch this puppy over to forward one. One, opposite. Come on. Two. Three. Four. All right. Just go around again, make sure they're all on. Now this is not torqued yet, so don't think that I'm rushing this. What you want to do is take your jack stands out, make sure everything is clear, and if I can, ever so slowly, lower this guy down. And this one is, you know, I like this jack, but man, this gets stuck. I'm gonna have to see if I can grease this. I was really a big fan of it, but I can't get that to be more smooth. It may not be something I'm promoting very much. And like I said, I don't get paid to promote anything, but if something is good, I tell everybody to use it. So, now we need to switch this to that other socket that I just misplaced. I think it is here. There we go. So, now every single one of these needs to be about, I think it's about 80 pounds. There's one, go to the opposite. There's two, go to the opposite. 3, 4, and 5. Sometimes, just so you know, if you want to get one of these extensions, you keep shooting hitting your hand here or against the tire, they can definitely be useful. Now you go around one more time just to make sure. Start from the top. Good. 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 So that, guys, is the 2013 Honda Pilot front brakes. As long as you don't run into anything catastrophic, that should be a cinch. So, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, good luck and see you next time.